Hello, everybody. I just don't know how to do a video like this because this is a tough video to do, and I really need your help with something. Honestly, for someone like myself in the past, I should not be doing videos like this because people will never buy it and think, this is all just for clout, just to start engagement forming with one another. However, I have to make this video as of me writing and recording for this. This is rather urgent, and I really need to reach out to people who are medical experts, somebody who knows what problems that are caused and how to treat it properly. As you guessed it by the title for this, my brother is in a health crisis that doctors will not even tell him, no matter how many tests we have done, no matter how many blood tests he have to take, no matter how much examination and research, there is no answers yet. I believe his symptoms are just getting worse. I can't really say his name for certain because he's a very private person. However, he agreed that I do this video with leaving his name out of it, and I would fear that his condition would lead to something life-threatening, and yet we have no answers to what the problem is. So for the symptoms that I've listed down as he texted me, he is experiencing itchy, watery eyes, occasional inflamed intestines, sometimes mild diarrhea, something that makes his throat itch, something in the back hurting occasionally, presumably in the pancreas, coughing of lungs, frequent burping of fatigue and dizziness. And yeah, that's all he texted me. This all began last August. I don't know what really happened, which day and how it happened. Actually, let me just tell you the truth. At first, well, which is part of it, it was basically all the junk food that we eat for years, and almost nothing happens to us, especially myself, since I am overweight and while my brother is skinny. Once it starts to take effect, we have to immediately stop and head to the doctors, to find out what is up. At first, because of what we ate back then, well, part of it was the reason. So we have to eat right, and we have to at least change up our eating habits. And, since I cook for my family each and every day, I can provide my brother with meals that he could eat until his conditions grow more concerning. There are foods he cannot eat. For example, cabbage. He can't have garlic. He can't have onions. He can't have tomato paste. He can't have too much protein because, there's another thing for his test results saying that his protein levels are high. And I'm only saying from what I hear. I cannot confirm or deny anything based on his struggle, and it's only information what I know. We have been trying to give him some, omega-3 pills, as well as some foods that are loaded with omega-3s. He has been drinking some tea. He has been drinking water mixed with baking soda, and as well as regular water. Until, and he also has been going outside more often since, and doing more walking. And it's also another probability that he sits all day on his PC, and never really almost stood up until, well, we gotta tell him to stand up more. He also had been giving pills that he should not be given, but then why the doctors recommended it in the first place. One pill, for example, is called, I don't know how to really pronounce this as I've written this down. I think it's omeprazole, 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 40 milligrams CPDR, that could be taken once every day before breakfast. However, my mom opposed to it because, she looked it up what it really does to your body, as well, pretty much the side effects that could really fuck up his stomach or really lead to liver failure. You know, since then he has not tried the pills because, we would rather be safe than sorry. We just don't know what effect that could cause. If you really disagree with it, ask yourself this: should he really be taking these pills despite the side effects. You may never know what sort of pills that your doctor gives you before taking them. Just think about the pills you're taking before you start. Think about the pills that you're taking, by researching them. There are many articles that are very mixed, and we do not know if we can rely on social media as far as other medical websites that verifies what the problem is. Well, again, we can't confirm what the condition is, and one guess of mine from what I've been hearing from my brother, I think, one of them will be either celiac disease or Crohn's disease. My only other guess is Crohn's disease, which again, I'm not so sure based on the symptoms that he is facing. And we have wrestled this for almost a year. And I'm afraid that, and this is going to be really hard to say this, it could mean that he could be dying, and he is in desperate need of care. And if you're going to ask why we can't call 911 for medical emergencies, one, I am told that we can't afford medical bills. If we do make calls, then the hospitals will charge us a fortune in order, to treat him. Two, our family does have United Healthcare, which is a fucking joke because we can't afford good healthcare. Therefore, doctors are intentionally leaving us patients who pay with our hard-earned money on red. And three, we are poor. We are just definitely poor. And my only other options are creating a GoFundMe, just to pay for medical bills if we ever do decide to call 911 one day. And to be honest with you, I am uncomfortable with the idea of creating a GoFundMe because, the court of public opinion of the internet decided that creating a GoFundMe that could lead to scams. And I really need to help my brother in any sort of way. And pretty much, if I can, is he dying? Well, I can't be too sure. I can't be certain just yet because I'm starting to come down to this conclusion that if his symptoms get worse, he could die. And I've never lost anybody close to me before. He's only 26. I gotta at least act now before it gets even worse. So that's why I wanted to call upon anybody who are doctors that can help him, can figure what is going on. And yeah, we got to take our health more seriously because our healthcare system has become, a joke. And we just eat junk food and sugary drinks and foods, just carelessly. And it's my fault that I did not know things like that, could happen sooner, with the healthcare and, most of the foods that we eat. And I figured, it is just rather dangerous, or at least it is rather scary. Now, regarding my health, I am fine. I just don't know how an overweight person like myself doesn't experience any of these symptoms, even though I've been eating for years, even fast food and even all the sugar, you know, because of what my brother has gone through, I have to stop altogether. So we gotta better ourselves. And the more my brother tries to better himself, for for some odd reason, and again, this is only an assumption, or this is only what I've heard, some of his symptoms just randomly come back, and and we have to at least treat it right away. I think, you know, he could be running out of time, and again, I'm sorry, but I'm just rather confused about everything what I've been knowing so far. You know, I can't come down to any conclusions just yet, but it, this is the most anxiety I've ever faced so far, and I really need your help. before things just get worse. I want everyone to pray for him at this moment. Is he in critical condition? No, but you know, it could happen soon. But and if we don't figure out what to do, so and also he also tries to schedule for an endoscopy as or a colonoscopy. Which is why he hasn't even taken the pills yet, or or even ever. So far, all other appointments have to wait, for ongoing trips to the doctors before he decides to start getting the endoscopy, colonoscopy, however he tries to, you know, help himself. This is we have wrestled with this case for long enough, and I am yeah. I'm just gonna have to keep repeating myself that I just need to, if anybody needs to reach me out in the comments down below, I'll be in contact. I am available almost each and every day. And please share this video because I feel like I have to treat this as an emergency. If it, sorry about that. I'm just gonna have to leave this cough in. You know, if anything else happens, I have to treat this as an emergency. So this is all I have to report for now. I will update you soon.